Improve performance just by improving sleep. Sounds easy? Well, it is. All you have to do is just grab one of these, slip your sleep mask on, and you are going to go into complete darkness. Jill MacRae and Lori Oliver of the Inactive Company join me today to talk about their journey from the breakneck world of all they were doing into this sleep world that is now making its way into the NFL. Sleep masks and inactive wear that are going to help you sleep better and improve performance here today on Scouting the League. Everybody, and welcome to Scouting the League, a really interesting and fun conversation with Lori Oliver and Jill MacRae of the Inactive Company today. We will get into that. But first, make sure you head over, like, subscribe, and share this podcast wherever you are listening and watching. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or over on YouTube if you want that video portion. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Most importantly, go share this with a friend. Whether you are an agent, player, scout, anybody that just loves football, find somebody else who loves football as much as you do and tell them to tune in. Then go over, give myself a follow. I am Rodrik David at Right Step ADV is where you can find me. Neil Stratton, you hear from him most of the week, InsideTheLeague.com. Inside the League on X is where you can find him. New agents, if you haven't gotten connected with me, make sure you head over to my website, rsafootball.com. Let me know what you want to talk about. I will shed light on everything going on in the scouting world, when it's happening, and what you as a new agent need to know, how to reach out, and everything in between. Scouts, this is a big episode for you. Sleep better on the road. Look at these masks, grab one of these masks, tell your GM to buy your entire staff one of these masks. You'll sleep better. And then head over to thescoutingcommunity.com. Join the group, Scouts Only, on thescoutingcommunity.com, and we will work together to improve the lives, the work, and everything a scout does. And if you're an aspiring scout, make sure you head over, join the aspiring scout section over there. Same website, thescoutingcommunity.com. That is where you can get signed up. Networking connections, learning, scouting, what decisions you should be making now that will help you get in an NFL building in the future. All of it for either scouts and aspiring scouts over on thescoutingcommunity.com. Head back, listen to all our show archives, whether it's with Stuart Jenkins of Blue Maca. Use that code SCOUTING20 when you order those insoles, whether it's with any of our awesome guests, all-star game guests, anybody in between talking scouting. Head back, listen, give us likes, follows, all that kind of good stuff. But as we jump into it today with Lori Oliver and Jill MacRae of the Inactive Company, really excited to talk about improving your sleep game. So let's get to it. Well, Jill and Lori, welcome to Scouting the League.
Thank you, Rodrik. We're so happy to be here.
It is exciting to have you guys here, and we promise, even though this is going to be a lot about sleep, we're not going to put anybody to sleep. We're going to keep it interesting, keep it entertaining, and again, sleep is so important. You both know that. Again, it's part of why you've started the Inactive Company and everything. But again, before we get to that, again, everybody stick with us. With teams traveling this week overseas, again, it's never more important than it is now to make sure you're getting your sleep on the flight in a new country, different time zone, all that kind of stuff. Before we get into all that, why don't you both give us a little bit of background, again, where you've come from, and again, why sleep masks, why the Inactive Company?
Sure. Jill, you want to take this one and then I'll do the next?
So, sleep is an ever-growing conversation, not just with athletes, but really the entire world, from health and wellness to executives to travel and leisure. we like to say that the world is waking up to knowing that it's exhausted. It's
Yep.
just become a much bigger topic of conversation. And as you look at the benefits of sleep and how that translates into better performance, better cognition, better, results on and off of the field, it was a natural for us to get into that. We've been pretty high performers most of our careers as well on the executive side, and it really translates into every other part of our lives, whether it being moms or amateur athletes or weekend warriors. It's super important.
Roderick,
Yeah.
we really started because we were exhausted. Like Jill said, we were working all the time. We are both moms. We have more kids than sometimes we can even count. Each of us does. And we are also athletes. We both, I grew up playing sports. My dad worked at the University of Georgia as a professor in exercise physiology. My mom was a nurse. Jill's dad was a doctor, a surgeon in the military, actually. And so we were trying to live very full lives. And we thought we were performing at a pretty high level, and successful, and kids are all doing well. It's hard to complain, but we were exhausted all the time. The difference was I think, maybe a decade ago, we thought nobody noticed. And what we see as we talk to people now is that everybody thinks that everybody is tired. In fact, it's a proven fact that insomnia or a lack of sufficient sleep is epidemic. It's more than a third of Americans are suffering from chronic insomnia. And when we talk to people, it's really confirming that they still also feel tired, but they don't think anybody notices that
Right.
they maybe aren't performing at their peak. But people are noticing. Like Jill said, everybody's waking up to the fact that sleep is critical. So that is why we started talking about how exhausted we were and what can we do to show up better for families in our work, to maximize workouts, to do it all better. And we both worked with a lot of startups over 25 years. We worked with big brand corporations, McDonald's, Coca-Cola Company, Starbucks, Dunkin', developing products, developing strategies, markets, talking to consumers of every kind about all sorts of problems. And what we thought we would do is solve our own problem. Always the best startup is for a market that is large and that has a problem that is not being addressed sufficiently. And
Yeah.
so sleep obviously was trending upward uh, three three years ago when we started. We knew we were on the early side, but we thought, what can we do and develop to really help people and ourselves get more and better sleep? And
Yeah.
that's how the Inactive Company was born.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about the high performance, the breakneck speed. Again, it's almost that badge of honor. It definitely exists for coaches as you're coming up through the ranks, as you're an intern, a GA, a position coach. If you're a scouting assistant, I remember my early days with the Atlanta Falcons. You're waking up again in Flowery Branch, Georgia, where the facility's at. If you're going to the airport, an hour and a half drive through the city, which means you're probably getting up at 4:30 for an early flight. And then, oh, guess what? You got to drop off that same player tonight at about 11 p.m., which means you're getting back home at midnight. But the badge of honor is there. It's like, oh, yeah, I made it through a training camp or a season. And it's like, oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
can function. I can get by without sleep. But again, in a world, specifically the NFL, but again, high achieving world, percentage differences. If you can be a percentage better, and again, every NFL team, colleges talk about, hey, 1% better today. Well, again, let's start thinking about putting on a mask. Again, the 4 hours that I get to sleep tonight, it's going to be the best quality sleep I have. Or again, for NFL athletes, instead of spending $15,000 on a hyperbaric chamber, hey, let's start with this. This is a little simpler. You can still sleep next to your wife with this on. Again, you don't want to. I don't know if they make those two-person hyperbaric chambers yet, but again, so let's talk about. Hey, we know it's a problem. Both of you guys are both dealing. Again, we all we all deal with it. Lack of sleep, lack of good sleep. Hey, a sleep mask, something incredibly simple, something that my wife, I don't know if I've ever seen her sleep without a sleep mask on. Something simple that you just throw over your eyes. How did the idea, like, hey, it's a sleep mask? Let's start there as we start to change the game.
Sleep masks are 100 years old. They've been around forever, but they have never been innovated. And we know with science, it's fairly current science actually, that in order to sleep longer and deeper, as you were talking about, quality is as important, if not more important, than duration. You need to be able to achieve darkness complete darkness, no even red light from the bottom of your TV in your hotel room. I mean, that will interrupt your sleep. Um, and so that is the one most important thing. The second most important thing to help you sleep longer is temperature regulation. We hear all the time from men and women that they sleep really hot. And it's a fact that as your body goes through its circadian rhythm cycles, your body temperature rises and falls. And as you begin to wake up, your body temperature will naturally want to rise. If we can keep you slightly cooler or temperature regulated, then you can sleep longer. So we took those two important factors, number one and number two, and started there and said, why aren't any of these masks ergonomically designed so that any face can fit the mask and achieve 100% darkness? Why can't you have a mask that's moldable to your unique facial features around your nose, under and above your eyes, so that you can really kind of get that customized fit for your face and get complete darkness? So we started with that. The second thing was the temperature regulation. There's something called a phase change material that's used by NASA, it's used by Nike, it's used by a lot of progressive and innovative companies and organizations, but it's never been used actually inside a sleep mask. So we did that. We put a phase change material embedded in between our four layers, additional layers of the mask that really helps to keep that temperature regulated. It wicks away the heat, if you will, as well as the moisture. And we have the fabrics and the PCM working together to kind of to regulate your temperature and the moisture. And so you don't have to put your mask in the refrigerator or the freezer. You just simply pop it on and your face temperature will stay cooler longer through the night. And then we, said, how do we make it comfortable? How do we make it so we just listen to all the people? First of all, not many people had even worn sleep masks. Your wife is unique.
Yeah.
We find that only about 10% of the population has even tried a mask.
Hmm.
So we said, how can we make this thing lightweight so, nobody complains about it, and also comfortable no matter how you prefer to sleep, whether that's on your side or your back or your stomach, even? How can it just be soft and comfortable, yet still kind of form fitting to your face, or like a very soft hug, not a suffocating one? So it's extremely lightweight. We did not put any hardware on the strap. It's a high performance elastic that is really self-fitting. If it's tighter than you would like it, you can just tug it and it releases and then it molds back to your face. We engineered the strap design so that guys and ladies with braids or ponies can choose to put their hair in between the pieces of the strap, or you can just separate the strap and wear it higher or lower on your head. You can really customize that fit so it stays on your face throughout the full night. And that's kind of how we designed it and tried to keep it simple, because it was an old product that never did go away, but nobody really said, how do we make it that much better and bring it into the future?
Yeah.
I think what you were really talking about and asking about is, how um, anybody can start incorporating this and why it's such an important conversation now. And really, the mask was driving what we like to call sleep warm up or sleep routine. And that's the key. So when you talk about your players who have made it through training camp and agents and trainers who are working with these guys nonstop and wearing that badge of honor. I'll sleep while I'm dead. We actually know, and they share with us that they live and die by their schedules and their routines. Well, sleep is a routine also
Yeah.
that they really
Yeah.
need to set themselves up for. And the sleep mask is just one step in that routine and starting to sleep better so that they can perform better. We like to say that sleep isn't magic. It's actually something that you were born to do and something that you can train for, practice, and perfect just like you do anywhere else in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, becoming part of the routine. Again, that was for me. I see my wife put one on every night, and again, I got mine and put it on for the first time, and it's like, okay, this is a little bit odd. But again, at the end of the day, now I'm laying down, and the first couple nights, it's sliding off my head. I wake up, and actually, just slide it back on, and it's like, wow, what true darkness. I put this thing on, and there is no light getting through, and it's really remarkable how well it fits. But there's those out there like, well, yeah, it all sounds good. Yeah, again, lots of people talk about getting better sleep, but there's actually some science behind it. You both are into the science. Again, we lots of it. Will show me the data, show me the information. Again, another one of those spots where you went to the experts. There's a bunch of them that you've cited, that you've referenced. Talk about the science again, as we've talked about. The quality of sleep goes up and performance improves. You've got the numbers to prove it.
We do. We worked with, um, not only did we do a third party test where consumers with adults with insomnia who slept fewer than the required 7 to 9 hours per night wore the sleep mask for 2 weeks straight. And we achieved statistically significant results across all measures. They improved their sleep by more than 27 minutes. They talked about how the quality of their sleep was better. They felt better. There's the insomnia severity index, which is a sleep instrument used by sleep doctors. And we always like to say we are not sleep doctors. We are not, medical folks, but we do care a lot about the science, like you said. And um, all the indexes up that are measured by the insomnia severity index instrument, we had statistically significant results on that 2 week test with adults. Then we went to Emory University and partnered with their Wounded Warriors Veterans Program. This was during COVID, so particularly difficult. Military veterans, not surprisingly, have a really, really hard time with insomnia. They have a lot of comorbidities that complicate things. And so, achieving good sleep is really difficult, especially for them, understandably. They struggle with things like PTSD, which is one of the key reasons why we really work to make a concave eye pocket so that you can literally open and close your eyes under our mask and just kind of have an awareness of where you are, even if you can't see. Because the veterans told us that was helpful for them. And of course, we're women and we like long eyelashes, and we thought it was nice. It could because you couldn't feel your eyelashes as you opened and closed your eyes as well. But so Emory University did an IRB study, sanctioned study, which is the most legitimate study you can do using our mask. And also, we got significant positive results. So that was really encouraging to hear that some of the most problematic sleepers, proven insomniacs, and military veterans could get better sleep simply by using a sleep mask. We went then to athletes, which we knew high performers of any kind were a big market for us, but athletes in particular and professional and collegiate teams to start, we thought would be great because if we could convince them that a sleep mask is actually a piece of performance equipment. Why are you not issuing a mask? You can't coach in the bedroom, but your sleep workouts, you're telling these guys they need to sleep. You can't really monitor it. You can, yes, you can do the Garmins and the Whoops and all that sort of thing. But it is really difficult to make sure that the guys are taking their sleep as seriously as they should. So we thought, let's test we did it with collegiate athletes at the University of Georgia and see if they can get more and better sleep. At the time we tested, um, they were only getting 5.9 hours of sleep per night.
Sounds about right.
And I'm revealing that only because it's been 3 years. They have improved that significantly, and they've been a customer of ours since the very beginning. The University of Georgia actually bought all of our prototypes from us, which is when we started with the 5.9 hours. And, it's not just the sleep mask, but the sleep mask, like Jill said, has really become a nice, tangible reminder slash functional piece of equipment that literally closes your eyes for you, makes you get off of your device because you can't see it if you have on a mask. um, and especially when the teams allow us to put their team logo on it and then the team issues it to their players, we're finding wonderful results with that as well. And we did a lot of things to make it appealing to athletes. Honestly, it's black. It looks like aviator sunglasses. It kind of has this cool um you know, couture-ish, if you will, wannabe look to it. And then we put it into a case that not only keeps it bacteria and dust proof, but also gives you enough room to encourage the players to put their phones into at night. So then they're still uh, close to their alarms and things like they want to be, but maybe there's one more barrier to grabbing your
Mhm.
phone in the middle of the night as well. So those 3 research studies that we did, all were really validating and kind of put us on our way.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, just like anything like this, again, the word of mouth becomes huge. As soon as star quarterback, star wide receiver gets it, and again, we all know the story of believe it was the Beats by Dre, and again how that exploded just by a few well-known basketball players wearing them, and I think we have 9 NFL teams that are playing international games this year. We got a couple taken off this week. You guys have partnered with them. I believe it was, again, everybody on the roster was going to get one of these. Hopefully, some coaches, because on that plane ride, I can imagine some coaches as you're game planning in the week are going to be, zonked out. You guys have partnered with NFL. They have these. They have them on logos on airplanes in a new hotel in a new city outside of their regular bed. These are going to be key for some of these teams. All 9 that are playing overseas got these masks. That's correct.
Correct.
Yes, and so we'll try to determine performance. The teams that perform better probably wore their sleep masks more often than the teams that not. Again, I don't know if we can call it a scientific study or not, but
There is a scientific study
mm,
that was done that showed that all other things being equal, when 2 athletic teams, I believe the study was done with football players, played against each other, the team that slept better the night before would win the game. So
wow.
just
Well,
to
Or
there
had
you go. I mean,
shown better sleep hygiene leading up to the game, not just the
yeah,
night
no,
before, but had
yeah,
better sleep routines.
yeah, and again, all the data. Also, again, you're talking reaction time, reflexes,
Yep.
again, vision. Not to mention, obviously, your physical ability to last longer, your endurance, all those kinds of things. Again, I think about it a lot from my first year on the road as a road scout. I remember how poorly I slept. I went from being laying down next to my wife every night in my own bed at home to all of a sudden I'm in a different hotel every day for about 12 days. You're checking in late, you're getting off your computer, laying down. Again, part of having that routine with this sleep mask, again, all goes into it. Coaches in offices, scouts on the road, sleep masks, the sleep performance wear makes a huge difference. If there's somebody that's like, man, it sounds nice, it sounds good, but I just don't know if I can put it on and sleep with a sleep mask. It's so foreign to what I'm doing. What are you telling people? Like, hey, you like other than just try it. How are you encouraging people to pick up a mask and start improving their sleep?
There are, we like to say we have the 7 um, playbook, which is actually on our website, and it helps you establish that routine. So for people who don't have great sleep hygiene or a great sleep warm up yet, it's a big ask to say, oh, all of a sudden you'll just start sleeping better. Wear this and you start sleeping better. So we like to say, start small, take the 7 steps, maybe do 1 a week or a couple a week, but it really starts with making your sleep routine the center of your entire day. It's from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed at night. And then the sleep 7 starts with have that mindset, expect to not sleep less than 7 hours. Talk to somebody else who's it's okay for, you guys to talk about sleeplessness with somebody else. That's okay too. Really take control of where your sleep cave is and what your space looks like. Make it a sacred sleep space. So we're very intentional and share the intent to be intentional, not to overuse that word, but in our sleep 7. So we really are, take the steps to actually creating your own sleep routine because it is different for everybody. There is no silver bullet that's going to make you sleep better.
Yeah,
And as
certainly.
far
Again,
as
like,
trying to get used to a mask if you haven't worn one before, it's a little bit akin to when we all during COVID and we all said, "Oh, we have to wear face masks," and that was a
Yeah.
difficult adjustment as well. Um, the wearing something over your eyes, laying on your face can be difficult, and we know that. We say give it a week, like really just and the first night, yeah, it may fall off, and it may fall off periodically anytime you wear it. It's that's okay. Um, but if you can stick with it, and because ours kind of molds to your face, you have a better chance of keeping it on. And
mhm,
because it's lightweight, hopefully the chances are it doesn't, annoy you as much as a heavier one might. Um, but if you just keep at it every night and you do what Jill just said, a couple of things to kind of prepare yourself, develop really this sleep warm up and then you take out this mask. Your brain and your body begin to associate the mask and putting it on with the idea of powering down. It becomes almost Pavlovian, where see mask, put mask on. Ah,
mhm.
time to sleep. I'm going to relax. I have to close my eyes because my eyes are covered. I sense the complete darkness. Just sort of enjoy it and take it as that forced break, if you will. It's the cutoff time for you really to put your phone down, turn off your devices, and begin to enjoy all the work that your body is going to do at night while you just lay there.
Yeah.
Literally appreciate how hard your body is working, how it's regenerating your muscles. It is helping you avoid injury and illness. It is helping regulate your mood for the next day. It is helping you to make better decisions as you wake up into the coming day. So if you just start reviewing, if I actually do my sleep workout, I will have, if not as good, possibly even better results than with my movement workouts that I do during the day. If you start thinking about it in that way, you'll get used to wearing a sleep mask.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, you think about something again, this is, I'm holding up mine. This is, it's not a big, and for the price, again, there's a lot of sleep products out there that cost a lot of money. Again, with the promise of better sleep. There's, the cooling fans, the special sheets. There's a lot of stuff out there. Again, for the price to throw one on and again start seeing a difference. Again, for players looking for an advantage, again, players should be buying these agents out there that are listening, this better be a part of every package you're giving to players and encouraging them to wear not just now when they're in season, but again through the training process. And one of the things that scouts talk about every year, again, that I do with my draft trip is again some of these guys are in 4 or 5 different cities interviewing. Again, nothing physical, but again, you want to be sharp for those interviews,
Yeah.
sharp for your meetings with teams and everything like that. Again, it may be an hour, 2 hour plane ride, this is going to make a difference. And then getting to that hotel, you again, new place, new environment, new bed. Hey, oh, familiar sleep mask going to make a big difference. And of course, for the scouts, I've already talked about, again, every scout, every GM should be buying these for their scouts as they get ready to go on the road this fall. Again, one of the great things again is you guys were coming up. It's something we talked about, before we jumped on here last time, but the nimbleness that you guys have operated on, again, going from around the world, big breakneck speed. That thing called COVID happens right as you guys are developing these and getting ready to go with these. The ability to be nimble with good sleep. Talk a little bit about what that experience was like of it, again, essentially rolling out a brand new business when the world was more or less shut down.
It was really interesting because from a timing perspective, it actually worked in our favor. A few things were happening during that time. The conversation around self-care became much more evident in every facet in every business, right? So people started talking about that, and people had more time to actually spend on themselves. At the same time, organizations like the American Heart Association was putting more emphasis on sleep. So their Super Seven, which used to be kind of the 7 things that you need to pay attention to in order to stave off heart disease, became the essential 8, and number 1 shifted to sleep. So that was happening. The National Institute of Health really started talking about what happens when you don't sleep, because as when people made the assumption that, oh, if I'm not going to the office, I'm sleeping, stress was a real factor. And it was
Mhm.
actually causing people not to sleep. There was a lot of sleeplessness going on. So it actually worked in our favor to help fuel us, as we also had time to take all this, sort of into consideration and say, well, while we're building our website and talking about our marketing materials, what do we really want to say? And that's when we really came up with the, oh, we're waking up to this tsunami of sleeplessness that's happening all over the world. And we're able to quickly get together a really talented team to help us tell our story, in a video, as well as get together an amazing website. And that was when we were able to connect through our network as well to some of these elite athletes that we were working with, and how we sort of nurtured this really core audience of ours.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, it just shows that, again, even in the face of what seems like uncertain times, again, being nimble, having a vision for where you want to go, and sleeping well while doing it is going to help you go a long ways. We've talked a lot about the sleep mask, and obviously that is a big thing. You throw it over your eyes, and you've both mentioned it, the temperature regulation, and that's kind of where, again, where we call these the inactivators, I believe, and then the inactive wear, the clothing, the temperature regulated clothing. Again, for a lot of people, that becomes as important as the sleep mask. And correct me if I'm wrong, really that next big step for what the Inactive Company is going to be doing is really continuing to dive in to that sleepwear that, hey, now let's pair them together and you will be sleeping even better.
Absolutely. And that's in response to our athlete customers mostly. They're the first to, we were so impressed. We spoke with the guys that were on injured reserve for the NFL, and were the first to say, "What else do you have? I need pajamas, and I'd like to be able to wear these pajamas on the plane. And I don't want them to be see through, but at the same time, I'm hot. Make them so that I'm not sweaty and hot. Put the same things you did into the mask into some apparel that I can sleep in, but also maybe get on a plane and not look like I just fell out of bed and got onto the plane. I could be comfortable on a flight and sleep on a flight if I need to. We also talked to players at Rookie Premier. We've been kind of going back, Roderick, to what you were saying about the athletes and the league itself really identifying how important sleep is. They've asked us to show up a lot of places. So our partnership really has kind of helped us to embed in all of the events that hopefully get some of these players as they're just coming into the league. But I think that the home run or the touchdown is really when a player in college or even in high school has started to work on sleep hygiene and sleep, and they're not being taught the right way to sleep, by the time they get to the NFL or professional leagues. But so anyway, they asked us really what was next, what else do you have? And we thought the inactive wear, easy for us, given our backgrounds, to kind of just replicate the all of the properties we did put into the mask to create apparel. Also wanted to make it look cool, keep it loose fitting enough so that it was comfortable, and then make it flexible enough so that you could wear it. It wasn't see through. It had a little bit of body, but not stiff. And so we're in prototype testing mode with our apparel right now. But we're getting excellent response, and the trade shows that we've been to, everybody is saying, "Hurry up, we want the inactive wear apparel." So we're working hard to get that out as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun part of that will be making sizes up to some of our 5 and 6X NFL offensive and defensive linemen to, again, down to that 180-pound little slot receiver. So you'll have a good range of sizes for those. I'm sure everybody's going to be looking, again, if you haven't tried, or you try your sleep mask again, I'm sure will be lined up for the inactive wear when it comes out. Again, the website is inactiveco.com. That's where all the information you talked about. What did you call it, Jill? The seven habits,
The Sleep 7 playbook.
The Sleep 7 playbook is all up there on the website as well. Individually, where, if people have questions, again, a college GM, an NFL scout, somebody in the football, basketball, anybody that's out there that's like, I just have more questions on this, where can people come and find either of you at?
They can actually also reach us through the website on our contact feature, but if they want to reach out to us at sleep@inactiveco.com, they can reach us directly. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. They can reach out and we'll reach back out to them immediately. We'll answer immediately.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely have that in the show notes. And, you're both Buckhead, you're Atlanta natives, the Falcons, one of these teams that has joined it. Again, they really went up to Minnesota and kind of opened a can up there. Have to imagine they slept well on the trip and that night before in Minneapolis, St. Paul, right?
They did get their mask early this season.
They did. They were strategic and got them before training camp this year.
Yeah, well, again, Terry Fontenot and crew were on it. Raheem Morris. I would love to see defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich in his sleep mask, because, again, Jeff would be one you might have to hold down and stick a sleep mask on. But then again, as soon as Brick is asleep, he's probably going to be sawing logs. So it's a fun one. But this has been a lot of fun. Again, everybody, make sure you head over, check out inactiveco.com. Look up Jill, look up Lori, all their information there. Get on, order your sleep mask. Again, guys, scouts out there, I'm wearing one. So if I can wear one, you can wear one too. Make sure you get one on, try it. It's going to improve your sleep. It's going to make you a better scout, a better football evaluator. But Jill, Lori, really appreciate you being on today and telling us the story. And best of luck as you continue to change the sleep game.
Thanks so much, Rodrik.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.
Agents, before we go, make sure you go check out Agent Live 360. It is at agentlive360.com for everything you need for your agency, from players to coaches, managing profiles, tracking invoices, sending invoices, getting paid, keeping up on every element of your entire agency. Notification emails, file, folder storage, ROI, transactions, invoices, calendar, contracts, teams, reps, everything all in one spot for you. That is Agent Live 360. Hop on, request a demo. Yours truly will hop on, walk you through it. I can promise you we will talk some football as well. Sign up now with code TRIAL90 for a 90-day, 3-month trial at just $10 a month for Agent Live 360. That's at agentlive360.com. Go check it out now.